Hey, look, we're going to keep it on this hiring process.
Let's give them a few more minutes. They jumping in here. Let's give them a little bit. They getting in here. It's a special day. It's on a Monday. No Monday night football today. No football at all for a while. No football at all for a while. Basketball is underway though. The Rattlers are making some noise over there on the boys' side, unexpectedly. The TSU girls continue doing what they do. I think Southern is on the top, at the top of both the boys and the girls. And we got some background noise coming from the background noise police, which is Mr. Campbell there.
Oh, you got background noise from me?
Yeah, so. keeping up with Trump.
Yeah, TV sound like.
What about now?
No, I don't have it now. Okay. No, I didn't have it now. All right. All right, we about to get underway. I hear some other noise too now. But hello? Oh, I know what that is, and that's me. See?
It ain't me.
No, it's me. I had us on the pre-roll, and once I started talking, I started hearing myself twice, so my bad. Hey, I want to welcome everybody to a special episode of HBCU Coaches Corner. This wasn't planned till late last week. Coach had thought we needed to do a live and give a colleague an opportunity to come and discuss his career, his accomplishments, and what he's currently up to right now. It was Coach Brian Jenkins, former Bethune-Cookman and Alabama State head coach, who while at Bethune-Cookman won, was it 4 MEAC championships?
Yeah, 4 MEAC championships. And I want to say 2 national.
So before we get to talking about that, Coach, I got to go ask my guys, how you doing? Hey, Steve, we're going to start off with you. Steve, how you doing, man?
Hey, man, I'm here, completed my birthday week.
You get a whole week, man?
Yeah, I usually don't do anything, but a friend of mine said, let's do something. So she did the whole week.
Oh, man. Wow. You 55, you up to a whole week?
Hey, man, up to a whole week, bro. And listen, and laid out on that 55-year-old menu, bro. I was saving money all week. Wow. Saving money all week.
Hey, you in the Denny's club.
Bro, listen, bro. I was at Denny's twice, bro. You don't know what y'all talking about. Hey, that $4 swing had me rolling.
And we is Denny's with the Grand Slam?
Bro, I had them. Hey, man, I was all on the Grand Slams, bro. All on the Grand Slams.
Wow. I thought in your part of the country it was Waffle House or bus.
No. It was out in Las Vegas. It was out in Las Vegas.
Okay. You ready to join AARP now?
Bro, I did that at age 50. I don't miss no discounts. All
right, Coach Cole. How you doing, man?
Man, look, I was great until about 1:30 today, chasing down a 13-year-old in the game, capture the flag, man, and boy, I turned them Jets on. Well, let me start by saying this. I played the game before with the other class, and they were, woo, coach, woo. Boy, they psyched me up, boy. I said, well, I can't wait till the next class. Man, I turned them Jets on, coach, at least in my mind. And, man, look, I started moving too fast, and my mind said, we got to stop. And, man, there you go, rolled on my shoulder, man. I dislocated my shoulder, but good, I knew a little about it, man. I jumped up and started moving around and kind of put it back in place. But besides that, Coach, it's always a pleasure to get on the show and talk about HBCU sports and HBCU football, and just to see you guys one more time, one more day, man. I'm ready to rock and roll.
Hey, man, that's an interesting thing. We got Greg Witcher III here that comes up and say, honor Rock Johnny Cole, Bishop Campbell from Huntsville, Alabama. Hey, let's take a minute, because that's something that, remember back in the day, you used to have roll call, and people would come and call in and tell us where they're listening from or whatever. Let's just take out a moment to see where all these people are watching us from, for a moment, just a moment before we get started. Where are you watching us from today?
Yeah, and while they're doing that, we also got to say, Nick, tomorrow we got a big guest coming on tomorrow.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Coach Sam Shea.
Yeah, and it's a return guest. It's a return guest. I think Coach Shea is with the quickest one to double back on us. Ain't it? We ain't never had one double back that quick, have we, Mr. Campbell?
Listen. I'm gonna tell you this, and we're gonna talk about this since we got time. I want to really talk about what Sam Shade and TC Taylor did at their Celebration Bowl. All the coaches, but Sam Shade, I'm telling you, I don't know if you guys got to watch the Legacy Bowl. Sam Shea let y'all know he got a person. Hey, man, we'll talk about that, But, hey, man, Coach Shea let y'all know he got a personality. People talking about, Coach Shea, Coach Shea was about his business.
Well, we know a coach that started off in college, won championships in college, went to the pros, won championships in the pros. I think he won 6 bowl games. His name is he's coaching now, named Belichick. You want to talk about no personality? That's no personality at all. So that has nothing to do with coaching. But I always like to brag on our show. I think we called this one. We called this one early in the year with Sam Shea headed to the A&M Huntsville. We matched that up. It was like we called out. People ought to listen to us a little bit.
Yeah, I think both you and Bishop kind of said that was I know Bishop was very adamant about that being such a natural fit for Sam Shea to become the head coach at Alabama A&M. It seemed like the right thing, but we all know just because it seems right, that doesn't mean that it always happens. But in this case, it did, and I think
But here's the difference when we get sometimes guys in those positions, CEOs in those positions, head coaches. At least with Sam Shea, we got some things to hang on. 2 state champions, SIAC champion. You know what I mean? Played for the University of Alabama champion. Played in the pros. We got something to hang our hat on to say, man, I could put my money on this, that he's going to do well, And sometimes, of course, and we're going to get into that, these hiring practices, sometimes these guys get in these positions and you look in it's just like betting on horses. You know what I'm saying? You look at the horse and see where he been at and see where he placed at. You guys are horse bettors?
Yes, yeah. I actually love it. I love the ponies, Coach.
Yeah, so you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you get to look at his pedigree. You look what he did last time when he was at the track. You look at who his mother and father was, and
that's right.
All those things factor into what kind of horse they'll be. Whether they're a mutter, or somebody who likes a clean track. Whether they need blinders on. But here's the deal, Coach. Here's the deal with horses. This is a secret. I'm gonna give y'all a tip for y'all bettors. A lot of it's got to do with the horse. But in my opinion, 70% of it got to do with the jockey. Because the jockey can get things out of certain horses that other jockeys can't get. I'm just telling you.
So once again, you got to check up on that jockey and see where he's placed at in other races. Yeah. I like that analogy. We talking now.
Yeah. So if you go to Louisiana Downs, not only check the pedigree of the horse, but also check the win-loss percentage of the jockey. That'll tell you something as well.
Well, that's kind of leading us to our subject tonight, since Mr. Jenkins wasn't able to make it, is what is the hiring process going on? You know what I mean? And are some of these things discussed? You know, where does jockey been at? You know, and where does horse been at? And those type of things. And you know, when it comes to HBCU, and I want to get our audience involved and let them kind of shoot us. I know some of my business people and, you know, are hiring officers, and we just want to just kind of get that out there on the process. But one thing, you know, we still got one university hadn't hired a head coach yet. And Fort Valley, I mean, just hired one maybe a week or two ago. And, you know, why we take so long, you know, to hire a coach, and, you know, and why sometimes, you know, we don't, you know.
The only participant in the conference.
Yeah, we open up that phone line, Coach. I open up that phone line.
Good,
so
good.
Just so you know, let me throw the number up there so they can get in on this. Go ahead.
Right. And, you know, what is the process? You know, when you got, and why is there such a difference between PWIs and Historic Blacks about how we go about hiring our coaches and our leaders? And you know, we're going to discuss all that. You know, we're going to throw our opinion in why some of the difference. And the thing about it, they pay these guys millions. I'm talking about, what's the highest paid coach now, Bishop? Probably about 10 million. You know, head football coach, and now they're paying coordinators millions. And
oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And you know, in a basic hiring practice, you know, we all been hired. You fill the application out, you know, and then they call you in for an interview. And then if you move to the next part, then they do a background check on you. You know what I mean? But the background check ain't at the barbershop. You know what I'm talking about, Rocky? The background check ain't a bunch of, you know, folk got together and say some stuff about some. Because one thing I know in this business, since I've been in it, is whenever a job open up, and then people start talking about the perfect fit for the job. You know, we do that. But then all that does is open up other people, Bishop. Man, that mug ain't no good. Man, back in 1978, man, he did this and this came out and this came out, and man, you see the newspaper article, man, but for some reason our counterparts don't do that. So I'm opening up the floor, you guys, and then we talking. We want our public to call in and talk to Coach.
I want to ask Coach, the Bishop, this, and I'll back out up. It seems like to me. Okay, let me bring this up. Scotty has a segment on the Off Script show that he calls Word on the Street, right? And in the Word on the Street, he lets people know this ain't news, this ain't verifiable facts, this ain't sourced. This is just what? Word on the street. Word on the street. And it seems to me that word on the street, when it comes to hiring coaches, head football coaches, right? That weighs a large
level.
At the HBCU level, that weighs a lot on who's hired and who's not hired. And I just want to ask you, because you're a historian, Mr. Campbell. Does word on the street does it have the perceived influence that I believe it has in who's hired and who's not? Or is it just much to do about nothing? Word on the street.
So wait a minute, are you talking about something in their background, or are you talking about?
Yeah. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. As it relates to this person's qualifications and their history.
Well, let me say this. I won't say the school because they'll get mad, but they're going to know who I'm talking about. There was a school in the SWAC that got a president, and all the alumni had heard word on the street about how this president kind of got down. And they said, we do not want this guy to be the president of our university because the word on the street, the powers that be made him the president. Needless to say, what they said he was doing, he ended up doing, and they had to fire him. So does it make A difference, absolutely, because people. See, the one thing about it, and Coach, you know this. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody knows somebody. You're not going to, especially when you're a high-profile person. And I'll tell you this too. You got two factions. You got the faction that want the guy. You got the faction that don't want the guy. You know what the people that don't want him, they're going to try to find out everything about that guy. And you're going to hear all types of things. So then it goes,
whether it's true or not.
Whether it's true or not. Then what happens is look, we'll talk about Grambling. Look at what Art Browse, right? They were going to bring Art Browse in. That Grambling G started rolling. That's not what we're about. Good, bad, or indifferent. I'm not going to get into that. But that it was public opinion. And Doug Williams came down there with that hammer and said, Grambling, this is not what Grambling's about. That guy can't be hired. Right? That's exactly what happened to him.
Right.
I'll use FAMU. Coach Gibbs potentially was going to be the FAMU coach. Potentially, right? Popular opinion said, wait a minute. This ain't how we about to do this. Look at what happens. So absolutely that plays into it. And the same thing, which, again, on the positive side. And let's talk about a little bit positive. Jackson State people wanted T.C. Taylor to be that coach. That was no secret. That fan base, and they made it known. This is the guy that should be. Now, I'm not saying that Ashley Robinson wasn't going to make him that, but the fan base did let them know that they wanted that man, and it was the right choice. The fans knew. So it happens all the time. It happens all the time.
So let me ask you this here, Coach, and I'll bring Coach Cole into this. When we rely on word on the street to be a part of the hiring process, right? How fair is it to not only the candidates selected, but all the candidates in the candidate pool?
Bishop.
Did y'all hear me?
Yeah. Wait a minute, I thought you were talking to Coach. Or I thought you were talking to Coach.
Whoever wanted to address that. How fair is it to the candidates selected and the candidates in the candidate pool when word on the street has influence on the decision that's being made?
This is what happens when administration you have I don't think taking count of what does a football program bring. Brings the first of the year, it brings the band, it brings homecoming, it's the biggest ambassador on the campus. And when I say about what administrator is it about we want to win, and winning is important. And we understand how winning is important. So it almost goes back to how many presidents have been presidents of a winning program to see the magnitude of what it brings to a university. Take one out your book all the time. Last 24 years, how many guys who have won a SWAC championship is still coaching?
One.
Yeah, and none of them are head coaches. Unless we take T.C. Taylor.
No, that's what I'm saying. The only one I'm saying, the last 24 years, the only coach in the SWAC, correct me if I'm wrong, that's a head coach and has won a championship is T.C. Taylor, and he won it this year.
And then you can even go further, Bishop, of how many of them are on staffs. So not only is it happening up in the big office, it's actually happening in the football room, where we're not hiring guys who have won championships. So let me ask you guys this. Does that hurt the quality of the overall game? Does that hurt our quality of putting good product on the football field? Bishop or Rocky?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Bishop.
Well, here's the thing. I think, this goes back to what we were talking about. A great AD understands the lay of the land, but a great AD also understands, because he's there every day, what's best for a university. See, that's why you have that, because a great AD will say, hey, I'm not going, because the wind blows different every day, right? The wind blows different every day. So you can have some people liking somebody today, and because, especially on social media, not liking them tomorrow. I'm running into that with one of my classmates is trying to get a job at FAMU. Somebody put some stuff out there. Now we fighting for him. Everything was good, but now we got to fight for him. So these are the things that I think when you have a strong AD that people believe in, that has a track record. But again, how many championship ADs do we have? Goes back to that point, right?
That's it.
That has a track record of hiring championship coaches that have shown that they can get people in the stands because of their marketing efforts and things like that. See, we've got to, again, this goes back to this brain drain. And I actually had a conversation with this. You got a lot of people that want to come back and work for their universities, but they know the politics that come with it. And they're like, well, why? And no disrespect to a lot of these are great times, but these are not major cities these places are in, right? So if you're in Atlanta, Chicago, Charlotte, Dallas, Houston, and you're going to come work in Itta, Mississippi, Tallahassee, Florida, it's got to be right. Because you're like, I can stay in Atlanta and deal with the BS that come down here to Tallahassee, Florida. Because the quality of, just the overall quality of living, you got to want to be in those cities. You got to love that school. So a lot of that has to do with who are the ADs now. So a lot of the ADs, they get mad, they get criticized. But the question is, they're always on the clock. They're always on the clock.
Well, you win championships, guys, in the president's office, because everything got to roll down, because everything's got to be treated. And because I had experience working at PWI schools, more than one, I could see that they prepare different. And I'll use my comparison. When you show up in the HBCU school in the fall, which they know they have football, we've been playing football for over 100 years. You got to fight on is the dorm ready? You got to fight is the financial stuff ready? It's almost, and then of course this compliance issue. Okay, and I'm not down on them, but we got to get better, right? When you're at the PWI schools, it's like everybody on board. You know what I'm saying? It's everybody on board. Everybody knows their role. It's football time. I just try to understand it, as you say, it starts with the athletic director too, is why is that? And maybe I'm asking our crowd, why is that? Our audience, why is that? You know what I'm saying? We can read a couple of these as we go, Rocky.
That's my homeboy right there, Steve Bouye. Very influential in the Atlanta metro area. Them put a lot of guys in the pros, has a very prominent AAU program, and he works out of Atlanta. His son was a great NFL football player, AJ Bouye. Yeah, man. And he says everything going on with HBCU is the dollar sports is not important. That's one of the things that I always bring up, Steve. Steve, if HBCUs were to, in my opinion, if HBCUs were to take athletics truly serious, like their counterparts have over the past 40 years, it potentially could be a cash cow for the university. That's what I sincerely believe. Coach.
And my thing is, what are the hiring processes? You know what I mean? Let's talk about for a minute. Let's switch gears and continue. We already know that evidently football is not that important, because this is why I say that. Every good CEO, whether it's the AD is where's our football program at? I think that's always got to be established. What our philosophy going to be, and where's our program? We want our program at. And if we want it at the top, then that's what we're going to do. We want to go get the top person out there, you know what I mean, for our dollar. And sometimes you might have to take a shot on a guy that quote unquote, what Scotty shows on, what the people say?
Celebrity coach?
No, about the word on the street.
Word on the street, yeah.
The word on the street, Bishop, in HBCU football is heavy, man. Is heavy, coach. You know what I mean? And so I'm saying that to say, okay, all right, we just come off a championship. Let's say you talked about the AD at Jackson State, which he's a good one. Dion wins championship. They leave. They got a championship team. Why bring somebody in there? You know what I mean? Somebody new when you got somebody there and he's alumnus of the school. You know what I'm saying? That's a no-brainer. But at FAMU, we wanted somebody there, and we damn near missed that one, Bishop. You know what I mean? Y'all just had came up a championship year. And it was a good thing hiring Cozy, who knew. But then there's some other programs that are perennial losing programs. So what would you go look for, audience? If you're a perennial losing program, you continue to hire guys with no experience. You continue to hire young guys. You continue to say, oh, well, we can't pay a high-profile coach, which I don't believe that because most coaches coach because they love the game. So to the audience, then what do you do? Who do you hire? Do you continue doing the same thing?
Well, okay, let
we got 24 championship coaches that's on the shelf.
Well, let me play the devil's advocate. Okay, so I'm going to name a couple of squads because it's going to be UAPB, Mississippi Valley, Delaware State, and Norfolk State. A lot of those coaches coach, and again, you would know better than me, but this goes back to how many of those coaches want to get into a situation where they know there's no success there. Would you go in a place where you know more likely than not that there's failure? Now, here's the thing. I think Delaware State, and I definitely know Norfolk has the ability to be there. But if I'm a coach, I'm not going to Mississippi Valley. I just know the resources are not there. I'm not going to Mississippi Valley. I'm going to wait for a better opportunity. I'm not going to UAPB. No disrespect to UAPB, but I'm just talking about if you look at the overall conference and where the hierarchy of teams that are championship team or teams that are ascending, like Alabama State, right? Team like Prairie View that's ascending. The ones that are kind of, hanging around and saying we want to get to that blue blood level. So again, you look at what the coach did, what the AD did at Delaware State. They've hired coaches with experience. They went down that road. It still didn't work. So they're just like, you know what?
Can I say, first and foremost, you got to understand being a head football coach is few far between. Just everybody don't get that opportunity. So when you say, oh, man, I got an opportunity to be a head coach. No, man, I'm not going to take it. That ain't happening, coach. 90% of the time, if I'm an assistant coach somewhere and a head job open up and they want me to come, 90% of the time, 99% of the time, that guy's going to take that job.
So you're telling me that a guy could be at a FAMU, a Jackson State, a North Carolina Central.
As an assistant? Yes.
As an assistant, and they're going to take the job at Valley?
Yes.
And not wait a minute, and not wait and say, you know what, maybe Alabama A&M comes open, like Sam Shade did. He's just going to go there because once that gets on your resume, when you go 0-11, because let's go look at Valley's last record. You go 1-11, 2-10.
Now, you know what that's called? That's called 2020, meaning, damn, I should have took this job. You know what I'm saying? I should have. And what you said got stability to it. You know, it does. But people don't look at it. I mean, coaches don't look at it that way. They look at it as an opportunity. So that goes back to what I was saying earlier, Bishop, about what do we need here to get this program going right? Because Pine Bluff, you know, they kept Coach Coleman for 10 years. And Coach Coleman had 2 winning seasons. But guess what they were? 2 SWAC championships. So he was able to try to get it going. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I was saying about how important it's like we don't have no guardrails on our hiring process, or no requirements, because when you listen to the word in the street, you know what I mean, and some newspaper article, instead of just going through the human resource department and finding out, you know, what's what, just like you know, in the process of being a teacher, you know, I think that hurts a lot of people. Nobody's perfect.
Well, Coach Campbell, Coach Cole, let me just draw. I'm just gonna pluck a school out, and I'm gonna use Norfolk as an example. They had a coach, and I don't remember who the coach was before Odom. but they had a coach that had what I would consider, if you look at his resume, that was improving the program slowly but surely, right? He hadn't won a championship, but he was improving the program, right? They let him go for all accounts, who's an established head coach at Southern, who had won some divisional championships, and who was, by any measure, you could say was successful as a head coach at Southern, and they installed him as their head coach, gave him security, and paid him well, right? And I asked you, Coach, for doing that, what did they get in return?
So what I'm gonna say to you is, for every one of those coaches, I'm gonna name you two that has done that.
No, Coach. I'm
you see what I'm saying? That they took a chance. I mean, not took a chance, but hired a championship coach that went on to leave that school a champion, and then go to the next school a champion, and then hire the next school.
Coach, here's the reality, though, Coach. And correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Campbell. There's not a deep pool of championship coaches that are available to HBCUs. If I'm wrong by saying that, Campbell, correct me.
No, you're right.
Well,
so who do you go get though?
Go ahead. Here's the thing, Coach. And what you say has some validity to it. But Coach, when you all win a championship, then next thing you know you're on the shelf. It's like that's it. You know, I said this long time ago. I said, dang, it seems like when you're a head coach of HBCU school and then you end up getting out, man, it's hard as hell get back in, or you don't get back in at all no more.
Hey, let me just take a moment, Coach Cole. I want to welcome our brother, the host of the Zone Coverage podcast on YouTube. He's doing a great job with that. I wanted to bring him on for this conversation because we're having a discussion about the inconsistencies among hiring in HBCUs. And I want to just frame the conversation. Sometimes they give guys with very little experience a chance. Sometimes they take guys from winning programs and install those programs. And sometimes they get a guy that is not familiar with HBCUs as a position coach, maybe even a coordinator, and install those guys as head coach. And they all seem to get similar or the same results, Zoe. So I wanted to bring you on that conversation. Is there a formula that works for HBCUs as far as what is the best? We look at your guy, T.C. Taylor. He was already on the staff at Jackson State, right? That didn't do well. Dion comes along and improves the program, right? T.C. Taylor is hired. He goes out and wins a championship in his second year. For all intents and purposes, TC is a successful coach 2 years in, looked like he's building something really special. Could you have known this by looking at TC's resume, Zoe?
I would say yes and no. Depends on the lens you want to look at it, right? You know, now granted, me being a Jacksonian, I have a different lens to what it looks like, maybe to somebody from outside of Jackson, right? Because I can actually go back to even when TC was on the staff, and before I even go into it, what's up, Rocky? What's up, Coach? What up, because I'm being rude. I could even say, even when TC got hired for the job, being on prime staff, right? Remember, his accolade, he didn't add on to his resume, even when he got the job, remember? Because the only thing that he changed at that point in time was he took over OT duties for about 3 games for the time that Prime was there. But his resume prior to being on Prime staff, none of this changed. He was who he was. You see what I'm saying? Now, the thing that, you know, that makes TC a great hire was, I remember I caught a lot of flack, but I stand like a prophet right now because I told everybody when he got hired, I said TC was a home run hire for Jackson State, and Jackson State under TC Taylor is going to have a W.C. Gordon feel to it. And I stand charged to that, right? Because it's a lot of moving parts to that. But to your point, Rocky, in regards to any HBCU job, every single job has special characteristics and they're all different. They're not all the same. There are so many different moving parts from being in different states. Everything is different. So what looked good and what could be tailor made? Let's just say if the southern job came open, right? Yeah, some guys can win at different places, but some jobs it takes a special type of situation and a special type of coach to take over that particular job. You can't hire a coach for every single job in the HBCU landscape. They're not the same. They're not the same. So in some instances, yes, you need to, get lightning in the bottle. Sometimes you need a proven record. Sometimes you need a proven thing. But and I'm gonna say this too: every winning coach can't win at every school.
Well, let me say this. Let me butt in since I'm the coach over here. One thing about it, and you talk about T.C. Taylor, he came from a championship program under Jerry Mack at North Carolina Central. So he knows a winning program. He knows the players in the makeup of taking North Carolina Central. Rod Broadway, North Carolina Central, championship coach. Grambling State, championship coach. A&T, championship coach. Pete Richardson, Winston-Salem, championship coach. Southern University, championship coach, right? L.C. Cole, Tennessee State championship coach. Alabama State coach. Barlow took over after that, still championship coach. Rick Comagee, all right, Central State championship coach, Tuskegee championship coach, Jackson State championship coach.
Oh, sorry right there. Rick Comagee didn't end at Jackson State.
I know. Can I finish? Yeah, he went to Mississippi Valley
and did what?
He did. I'm taking that. But what I'm saying is, guys that have been in championship programs, and I don't know if you heard me earlier, so I was saying the school, if they're taking their football programs important, they would go in there and they would really see what we need, meaning we're going to hire a football coach. Not a guy to come in the interview and talk about God, not a guy in the interview talking about praying and all that kind of stuff. We want a football coach. I mean, I would think that I want a guy that's been in a program and tell me how you're going to turn this program around and where have you done it at? Because I'm tired of losing. I get it, guys. Y'all broke my back on celebrity coaches. I get it. Great try, and we'll see. We'll talk about this again next year, and we'll see how that works out.
Joe, hold on. Let me jump in here. Let me jump in here.
Let me add this one real quick. See, Coach, I think that's where you're missing the ball at. See, I'm gonna use me. I can't speak for Rocky and I can't speak for Steve. See, I think that's where the demarcation is. I don't think maybe Rocky, but I'm not all for celebrity hires. See, a certain hire for a particular school could be a home run thing. I never said that and I think none of us are. If it's a good, for example, I think Sam Shea is a damn good hire at Alabama A&M, right? For all the reasons like T.C. Taylor being a damn good hire at Jackson State. But I'm telling you to your face, I don't think Sam Shea is a damn good hire at Delaware State. I don't.
100%.
This is why I disagree with you. This is why I disagree with you on that. Of course, he coached in high school, won 2 state titles, right? He took over a bad program at Miles, and as you see, he went what? 5-6, maybe 8-3 championship.
Coach, here's the thing.
He's been a champion himself.
Here's the thing that you're not getting, Coach.
Well, I think. I'm talking facts. I'm talking facts. These are facts. You guys are talking about. You're talking about dreams.
No,
I'm talking facts.
No, I'm not. I haven't denied.
You can't tell me that Sam Shea couldn't coach nowhere in America and win.
Coach,
we'll see.
I haven't denied or went against anything that you said. That's what I'm saying. You're not hearing me. Here's the thing. See, do you know the reason why you want a good resume? See, the thing is that you're not saying is all of us in all things, we want guarantees. There are no guarantees in none of this. That's why you want a good resume. That's why you're speaking to, he's done this and he's done this and he's done this. But Coach, guess what? Just like you say, well, I'll give you that recommendations. I can name a lot of other coaches that were winners that went to other places that did not win. There are no guarantees in any of it. Because
what I want you to do, let's put number to number. You name those coaches that come from losing programs, have turned around, and for every one you name, I'm gonna name 2 coaches that came from championship programs that went on to win. So go ahead, go ahead.
Name who now?
You and don't let's get in the PWIs when Nick Saban don't want everywhere he don't be in. You know what I'm saying? Belichick don't want everywhere he don't be in. He'll keep going.
North Carolina.
At Cleveland.
Mac Brown don't want everywhere he don't be in.
No,
We just was talking, so, and I'm gonna let you talk. I don't want to overtalk you, but we're just talking about horse racing and how you bet on a horse, and it's the same thing as a resume. You gotta have something that you can hang yourself on. When I'm talking to a guy about, okay, I want you to drive my car, but he can't tell me, man, I rode the bicycle and we was in the bicycle race and in the go-kart race. I want to know if he drove a NASCAR and won the Talladega SWAC, something to tell me. It's something about a winner, guys. They had it.
Every program isn't the same. Watch this, because I'm going to use Deion Sanders because it's a damn good quote, right? What constitutes as a win? Because just winning a game doesn't equate to a win fame across the board at every school, because every school isn't the same. Like for example, okay, Valley, we know Valley resources and everything else, but if Valley win 5 games, that's almost like Valley won 8 or 9 games, right? Because it's Valley. Not every job is the same. So, for an example, Delaware State, taking the stance that we're talking about a program that's won 40% of its games, coach. So guess what? And they've hired successful coaches before. They've hired and they've took some risk as well. They've gone about it the way that you suggest that they do it. What do they have to show for it? Nada. I tell you what, Valley went and got a Rick Comity, who won at Jackson State, won at Tuskegee. What did they benefit from it? Nothing. They took a chance on his defensive coordinator. What did they get? Nothing. Hold on. Valley got Willie Titan. You know what I'm saying? Closer to the SWAC. What did he do? He had 1 winning season and he was 6-5. Right? Mm-hmm. Before then, they had my guy that used to wear the hard hat during the games. I forget his name right now, but Steve probably know who I'm talking about. During the late 80s, they had a semblance of success with him. So what I'm saying is, it makes a difference if Valley goes out and say, you know what?
Is that the gunslinger?
Huh? Larry Dorsey. Larry Dorsey, head coach. Larry Dorsey had a couple 6-5 seasons. So it makes sense for Valley to say, you know what? We've done it this way. Let me try a Terrell Buckley. Now, granted, Terrell Buckley has been coaching, but even if Terrell Buckley hasn't been coaching, because he's from Mississippi, tied to the area, very well familiar with it, it makes logical sense. Why not take a flyer? All I'm saying is every situation can have to sit there and say, let me take a proven winner, because we've done it and we've done it before, and we don't have any success doing it that way.
So, because I've been around a lot longer than you have. Name me a coach that come from a losing program that took over a program and turned it around. Thank you. That's what I'm saying. Thank you. It's crickets.
Hold on. Well, I'm going off the dome, but it's plenty out there now. You know what I know. If I get on this keyboard and get the looking.
No, hold on. Wait a minute. I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna give you one real quick. He didn't win nothing. Pete Carroll left the NFL, went to SC. He was known as people when he hired him SC said, why they hire him there? But coach, let me roll something to you, because you've been saying this about these jobs. Okay. At FAMU. When FAMU job was open, you know how many people apply for that job, coach?
Bunch.
100 coaches. Do you hear what I just said? Yeah. So what my question is to you is, you saying all these people are sitting on the bench. Then my question, when Valley was open, when UAPB was open, when Norfolk State was open, when Delaware State was open, all these guys you're talking about, I need for them to come on this show and say, I apply for those jobs.
Okay.
Exactly. Because my thing is, a lot of these people, coach, that you're talking about, they're sitting on the bench. And now you know these guys. Then I'm going to challenge you to have them come on the show.
Do we got time for me to get them on the phone?
Man, we got plenty of time. You show me a coach. Yeah, we got plenty of time, because I'm telling you, these guys, they're doing a lot of talking, but you tell me if these guys apply for that job at Valley, that was just up. And I'll tell you, wherever they went to school, I give them $100 to donate their name.
Yo,
But
y'all-
y'all they did.
Let me say this. Y'all don't think Steve
here,
McNair applied for every damn job was open?
Hold on.
Who applied for every? Odom's name is up at Central State.
Hold on, Coach.
No. I'm asking you the question because those jobs came open and we knew who they were. And you're talking about all these guys sitting on the bench got championship pedigree. And I'm gonna say this: at FAMU, it was 100 guys that said, "I want that job." 100.
So let me interject something that I think Zoe brought up a great point. I think early in the conversation by saying this: not everybody can win everywhere, right? And I'll say this: everybody who fails doesn't fail for the same reasons, right? Some people do. Some people fail because lack of resources. Some people fail because they can't recruit, right? Some people fail by a combination of things, right? Let's go back to Norfolk State. Let's go back. Go ahead.
Right. Hold before you do that, Coach. Where did you go to school at?
He froze up.
Coach, where did you go to school at?
Texas Southern University.
You were a fine quarterback at Texas Southern, right?
Yes, sir.
So I'm quite sure you're familiar with the coaching lineage at Texas Southern, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there happened to be a particular coach that came to Texas Southern, and he won previously before he came to Texas Southern. And I could be wrong, but I'm gonna ask you since you were Texas Southern alum. Bill Thomas, how did he do at Texas Southern?
Bill Thomas was terrible.
Okay, what did Bill Thomas do?
Bill Thomas did have two wins. Hold on, let me.
Hold on.
You asked me a question, Coach.
What did he do before? I just want to know what
Bill Thomas took over. You gonna let me? Bill Thomas took over at Tennessee State from John Merritt and Coach Gilliam. And they had finished 11-0, 10-0 every year. He took over a program and went 11-0. Bill Thomas did. But by the time Bill Thomas was at the end of his Tennessee State, they went 0-11. 0-11. We even beat them at Texas Southern. He comes to Texas Southern, Coach. He's right there in the middle of the road. All right. He has one, I want to say maybe 2 winning seasons. Okay. But let me tell you, it's just like you said, there's sometimes there's some places you don't go for what you're trying to do. Between coach and some administrators, Coach, they screwed us up. Screwed us up. Then we got, now I'm going to say something. Then we went and got my man from Howard. But by that time, he was out as well. Okay? Here's the thing do you know who coached me, Joe, at Texas Southern?
What, the hot towel?
He's in the Hall of Fame.
What, the hot towel?
He's the first African-American offensive coordinator in the pros. That's who coached me. We had Ben McGee in the pros from Grambling. We had Frank Lewis in the pros. You know what I mean? We had all these professional football players coaching us, and we got our ass kicked.
Now, so I'm gonna say this. I picked this up right. So I'm looking because now I just want you to know because I pulled it up because Google is a beautiful thing. So Bill Thomas never went 0-11 at Tennessee State. He had a 34-20-3 record there. Now he only had one losing season his last year. He was 3-7-1. But my gosh, he got to Texas Southern and he went 50-58.
And that was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Okay. So that goes back.
Texas Southern, if you looked at our overall record, that was pretty good.
But Zoe, this is what I'm saying, and I was gonna get to this point. Winning looks different at every school, Zoe.
Yes, sir. It does.
And here's my point: is that as a coach, I think you have to identify, or as an administrator, you have to identify why your school isn't winning, why Mississippi Valley is a perennial loser when they have 2 schools in their state, right, that are what you would consider historically successful programs. Alcorn State recently, and historically Jackson State. Why can't Mississippi Valley have that same success? I don't know that, but whoever is the hiring authority, the president, the AD, they must know why they are failing historically in order to make the right hire.
But here's the thing. See, with Valley not sustaining success, it's not just the coaches that they hire. Because like I mentioned, Larry Dorsey has a semblance of success there, right? But hell, even my guy Archie Cooley, right? Even when he was there, for all the fame that they had for 2 years, they didn't win a conference title. Valley has never won a conference title, right? And so you get Willie Titan to come back and coach. I think they have 1 year where they go 5-6 or 6-5. Only 1 year. So again, you look at they've made some good hires, but it's been other things. We look at Dancy, right? Dancy came in, former Jack State player. He was the defensive coordinator on Comedy staff. Comedy came in, known as a winner. All these different stops. Man couldn't smell 500 at Valley, right? But that's a good coach, right? And that was a damn good hire when you look on the basis of it. But we also know why he got hired. He needed to get his retirement from the state of Mississippi, so we understood that. But then you promote Dancy, right? Damn good coach. Look at his trick that he's on right now, and he couldn't even smell 500 at Valley, right? Because there are other. There's other.
Where did he come from, Coach? After coming to the head coach, where did he come from?
Where
was he at before then? Before he took over?
He was at Jackson State.
Okay, as assistant.
Yes.
But who was the coach then? They didn't win no championship. That's all I want to say. He came off of a bad staff.
Yeah, but look what he's doing now.
Oh shit, Coach! That don't mean he ain't a good assistant. That don't mean he ain't.
Hold on. He had Valley competitive.
Yeah.
I tell you what. But you saying that, but hey, what about Coventry? Because Coventry won at Jackson State. Coventry won at Tuskegee. Sam Shade could be at Valley right now. I don't feel the same way about Sam Shade at Valley as I do Terrell Buckley at Valley.
Let me
ask you this here, Zoe, before we move on, because I want to hammer this point. Could Deion Sanders do what he did at Jackson State at Valley?
I don't believe so. No.
I don't believe to the magnitude that he did it.
No.
I don't believe to the magnitude. And I had the same argument with my homeboys. I don't think he would have done it to the magnitude that he done it. Eddie Benny ain't even a media place. Shit, But here's the thing, the guys I see, of course, through my lens, because I've done it.
What couldn't he have overcome in Inabino? That's why I'm asking.
I mean, take a pick.
I will say that he would not have gotten the level of players to come to Inabino. I don't care who he was.
I had an argument about would the Heisman Trophy would have came to Inabino to play for Deion.
No.
I said no. That's what I said.
No way.
Rocky, have you ever been to Inabino?
No, sir.
Okay.
When you go, you want to
ask my college room.
In a small
the only thing I know is my college roommate, Tyrone Montgomery, the little brother of Wilbur Montgomery, and my roommate in college, he was from somewhere around there. I want to say he was from Greenville, and he was country as a pork chop sandwich. And
Montgomery played backup to Walter Page, left Jackson State, ended up going to somewhere in Texas.
Abilene Christian, wasn't it like some Abilene something?
Abilene Christian.
So Wilbur was at Jackson State.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the white man came and got him, actually illegally.
All right. I'm gonna give y'all an analogy.
Not on the field because he was behind Walter Payton and Ricky Young.
Yeah. I'm gonna give y'all an analogy, and then y'all answer this question. How come every head coach or coach who comes from the Nick Saban tree go right to the championship? They were nothing before. They go work on Nick Saban's staff and go. My brother worked on one of his staff, and they go straight to the championship. Tell me why? Because they've been in. I'm gonna tell y'all why. Because they know how to cross T's and how to dot I's. Because they learned them from a championship. See, you guys are kind of talking it from the outside, nothing away, because you guys are very, very knowledgeable. Never taking nothing away. But when you're on the inside and you see a program goes from nothing to something, and you got a head man in front of you that's crossing the T's and dotting the I's and wearing your ass out about why you don't know where this is and And you see those guys that start embracing that and seeing where that's important at. But one thing about Nick Saban, he can't keep a coach long now. Them guys are flying out of there. But they're flying to these head jobs. Look at them. Boy at Sarkeesian, Texas.
Well, let me say this. This is one, and Zoe, tell me why this doesn't happen on HBCU level. In my opinion, if I'm Prairie View, who else had a vacancy in the SWAC this year? Alabama State, Alabama A&M,
and Valley.
If I'm one of those guys, I'm taking somebody off Jackson State staff. They're not just gonna keep the same coaches and do the same thing next year. I'm getting somebody.
Wait a minute, Rocky. Wait a minute, hold on. I'm gonna go Terrell Buckley. You can say what you want to get. That don't mean they're gonna come there. Why would somebody from Jackson State leave to go up to Mississippi? It's not happening. Terrell Buckley just told you that.
Why you say Terrell Buckley this?
Because Terrell Buckley told us it was guys he wanted that just like, bruh, and I'm talking, these are his brothers. Like, bruh, I can't do it. I can't do it.
I'm saying, where does Coach O get a head job at if it's how does Coach O and the defense coordinator turn down a head job at Valley, Prairie View, or Alabama A&M? How do they turn those jobs down?
Coach O.
Because guess what? You don't just take a head coaching job just because a head coaching job is available. I mean, because if I want a job, I still want a job where I can feel like I can have some success. I mean, look, there's no data to show you that you can have success at Valley. So why would I take that job at Valley when I've seen what it is and what it looked like?
What about Prairie View?
Okay, well, guess what? My thing is, well, I'm happy where I am. Coach O's from Jackson. And I'm going to say this, unpopular opinion, not every assistant coach wants to be a head coach.
That ain't no unpopular opinion. That's a fact. That's not unpopular opinion. That's a lot of guys that just want to coach. And they don't want the headache of the politics.
I'm going to tell you this. It ain't too many guys going to turn down no damn head job.
No. And here's the deal at Prairie View. You're talking about 340. At Prairie View, you're talking 340. How many of those guys on Jackson State staff can turn down 340?
Well, I mean, he's not getting paid no 340. What are you talking about?
What?
340 what?
1,000.
Nobody from Valley made no $340,000.
No. I said Prairie View.
Oh. But see, hold on. See, now you're going back to my point. So there's not turning it down because Prairie View had a person like Tremaine Jackson that at the high level wanted that job. See, hey man, choices are made because of what the girl looked like. Okay. Let's go back to my point.
I want y'all check his background. Every coach. Check Tremaine's background.
I tell you what. Tremaine got what he got paid because of his resume. Not every coach that's going to coach at Prairie View is getting paid the same amount of money. Willie Simmons didn't get paid $340,000 at Prairie View.
But Willie Simmons didn't come from Division II national championship.
You just proved my point. You proved my point. What I'm saying is,
he was getting 300 at FAMU, and he hadn't won nothing.
So what I'm getting at, but FAMU was a blue blood job in this space. What I'm saying,
and he was winning 9 games. I tell you what, you start winning 9 games, 3-4, so you're gonna get that money
because he was a champion.
But that's
he won at Alcorn. He won at Prairie View.
You can't say I'm going to turn down $3,000 or $4,000 because everybody's not getting the same offer. But I want to pose this question to Coach because you mentioned Jerry Mack a little while earlier, right? So I'm going to ask you this because back when we first hired Harold Jackson, there were 3 finalists for the Jackson State job, right? And Harold Jackson should be an NFL Hall of Fame, former Jackson player.
I'm going to say something so when you finish. Go ahead.
Hold on. There were 3 finalists for their job. It was Harold Jackson, Tony Hughes, and Jerry Mack. And Jerry Mack is a former Jackson State player, by the way, for y'all that don't know.
I recruited him, coach, out of high school. Been knowing him since he was 19.
Now watch this. Those were the 3 finalists. Jackson State goes and hire Harold Jackson. We saw the way that goes. And then he gets let go. So they say, hey, let's right or wrong, and we're going to hire Tony Hughes. So the one guy that we didn't hire leaves that interview and gets the job at North Carolina Central. Proceeds in his very first year to win the MEAC or tie for a championship with the MEAC. So, Coach, here's the thing. So before Jerry Mack won at North Carolina Central, what was he doing?
He was being assistant coach.
Okay, then. So what winning pedigree does he have?
Playing at Jackson State, maybe.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No. So again, because his first year he had TC Taylor. At that time, TC Taylor.
But what was guaranteed that he would take?
Okay, go ahead. At that time, TC Taylor became the OC. Do you know where TC Taylor came to North Carolina Central from? Do you know what?
Hey, I'm sorry. Say that again.
Do you know where TC Taylor joined Jerry Mack at North Carolina Central?
From a junior college in Mississippi, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm sorry, Coach. Go say that again.
I said, do you know where TC Taylor was prior to being at North Carolina Central? At the OC?
No, I don't.
At Texas Southern.
At Southern University?
Texas Southern.
Oh, okay. Right.
And you know he wasn't winning there.
No, he wasn't.
So all this winning pedigree that you said that you got to have because they won the MEAC 3 years in a row or tied for the crown 3 years in a row. So what winning pedigree did they have?
Okay, you found one straw in the haystack.
It's a bunch of them. It's a small haystack and it's a bunch of them.
But Coach, now, Joe, let's go back to Harold Jackson, the professional football player, 60 years old, gonna come back and turn around Jackson State.
Okay.
How did that work out?
You saw the way it worked out. I mean,
then we went in hard. PWI, my man, after him. How did that work out?
It didn't work great.
How did Coach Bell work out?
We don't mention that name.
Okay, thank you. That answers my question.
But hold on, because Bell had a great resume. I mean, he was a coordinator at Wake Forest, coached at Indiana. All the things that you say that you love, he had that.
No. So Wake Forest and Indiana, I don't even have to do the research.
What you mean? No. He wasn't. Hold on. He wasn't the head coach.
No. I'm saying that neither one of those programs are winning pedigree.
No. Again, you quote the wrong thing. When it relates to his resume, you're looking at you can't say winning programs.
Yeah. Okay.
He was experienced. Hold on. Because at that time, Indiana had a damn good defense. His resume was actually good. You can pull it up now.
Yeah, I know
His collegiate resume was good. He was a horrible coach.
Bell very well. I know.
Horrible coach. Yeah. So, but guess what? His resume was.
He's a good man, though.
Hold on. His resume was everything that Coach loved. He got quiet, didn't he? Everything that Coach loved, his resume had.
No. I'm keep on telling you. I know him personally, Coach. I mean,
okay.
I know him. His family, great man, and everything else. But he was not an HBCU guy. Okay. Period. But I'm not saying because he didn't go to HBCU. But I'm saying his personality.
But his resume was everything the way you like. We did it the way that you would like to have it done. Can we not?
No, let's go to this, though.
So you want to change something now?
Man, let's go to this. How do you feel about the administration's hiring practice?
Oh.
Because one thing we all can agree on, in PWIs, they're going after championship guys because we understand that it's important. I mean, they got a reason to.
No, but they may
go ahead.
Too.
You agree with HBCUs hiring practices?
Some instances, yes. There are some examples where they got it way wrong, and there are some examples where they got it right. You look at the way FAMU went about getting Willie Simmons. That was the correct way to get a coach.
So let me
hold on 1 second, right? Because I'm gonna get some examples. What Jackson State did in getting Deion Sanders, it was the right thing to do. It was the right thing to do. And
I don't think nobody questioned that.
Hold on. And they went about the right way. In succeeding Deion Sanders, Jackson State went about it the right way. FAMU getting Willie Simmons, they did it the right way. I remember when A&T, they were old and forever. They made a damn good move going after Rob Broadway. It made sense, and it was the right hire to do. So, yeah, there are instances when they do the right thing. Trey Oliver is just like T.C. Taylor at Jackson State. That was a damn good hire for Central, right? You know,
so you saying what I'm saying? All them guys have been in championship programs. Everyone you've named been a champion.
Let me ask you a question, Zoe.
Shoot.
Let's because I want you to look at a recent hire by HBCU program within the last 2 years. What did you think about the Dishman hire?
I mean, I thought it was okay. I think it was a good move for Texas Southern.
Do you think it was okay? Did you think it would have been better?
May I ask you why? May I ask him why?
Okay.
I mean, why? Coach, they've been doing.
Did you see his resume? Have you seen his resume?
I'm not.
Maybe I need to send you his resume and then bring you back on the show.
Hold on. Actually, for Texas Southern, no resume is needed. I mean, they've gone about it the way that you want to do it in the past, and what has it gotten them? I mean, so again, they've done it the way that you want it done. What has it gotten them, Coach? So, because watch, hold on. His resume was standing. What was Texas Southern record last year?
Was it 5-7 or 4-7?
He was 5-7.
5-7.
Hold on, 5-7. Do you know the last time Texas Southern won 5 games, Coach?
Yeah, when Durrell Ashbury was there.
Okay, then. How many years?
Like 2012.
Okay, then it's the year of our Lord, 2025. My math is there, but that's 13 years.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
But that's not the question. Wait, hold on, Rocky. But that's not the question. The question is, and like I said, we got to do this. Was Fred McNair the better hire though?
Thank you.
That's actually the question that needs to be asked. Who would you rather have? And Coach, this was no disrespect to you. We're just asking the question. Fred McNair, that's who they wanted to have the job. Point blank.
You know, I like champions. In Texas Southern, we need to win some championships.
So
I'd have went with Fred.
No, in Texas Southern, you need to win a championship.
That's what I'm saying. A championship.
With a plural. You need one championship.
Well, hey, look here. Now we about to start a goddamn fight on here because I ain't letting mine go. Your homeboy fucked me. And look, I'm talking crazy. This is my show. I won a championship.
Rocky, you better mute it. Right now, you better mute it. Rocky, you better mute it.
Put 3 guys on the damn field, and we whooped ass.
Yeah, we had to mute you, Coach. No disrespect, but we gonna mute you before you say something you gonna regret later.
Well, listen, trust me, them boys listening. I know this for a fact.
But let me say this.
We gonna get banned like Scott.
So crazy, man.
So they led you, Coach Campbell led you where I was going. If you were sitting in Granger's seat, right? Would you be more comfortable with Fred McNair or Chris Dishman?
My truthful, honest answer is it depends on what it is that I'm trying to do for my program. So I'm serious. No, listen, just hear me out. You say win, but again, bringing McNair to Texas Southern doesn't guarantee he's going to win and have success there. It doesn't. You just feel better about it because you've seen him do it at Alcorn, so that just makes you feel better or more comfortable with the hire. Chris Dishman from Houston, played with the Oilers, got personal relationships, and I'd be damned, he went 5-7 his first year. I mean,
so do you count the Lincoln whatever game too?
Man, look, it's on the schedule. Hold on, and Texas Southern can't sit there and say we're gonna put an asterisk about it's Texas Southern. Look, hold on, Coach. I'm sorry, but do you know what we call them in Mississippi? We call them Texas Valley. In Mississippi, that's what we call it. Mississippi Valley, Texas Valley.
True. It's true, Coach. We ran by guys from Mississippi.
My truthful answer, Rocky. My truthful answer. I'm not trying to be broad. My answer. I'm serious. It depends on what Kevin Granger is trying to do. I know Texas Southern just got a brand new weight facility because again, one thing about McNair is you see him at his height. It's bland. It's not going to check. Can he win some games? Yes, he can. But what does it look like? If I'm trying to recharge my program, change the look of it outside of just wins, I get Chris Dishman because he's a Houston Oiler. There's relationships there. He's from Houston, played there. It has a different feel and flavor to it if he wins more so than when McNair wins. Because when McNair wins, it don't move the needle. That's a fact.
What did
facts. I like that what you said at the end between those two gentlemen. I think that's true, but of course, I don't know, guys. I'm just more of I like more security. Nothing's perfect.
You won't guarantee.
That's be exact. But when I'm doing something and want something in charge, I like something I can hold on to. So that's just kind of.
You won't save money, Coach. You ain't about taking no risk. You won't save money. Go on, say it. You want guarantees. We all do. Yep. Because we want comfort. We want the best, surest thing as possible. But there ain't no sure thing in sports. You got to take a risk. No risk it, no biscuit, baby.
So you weren't on here when we posed this question, but I really like to hear your opinion on it. In the HBCU space, do you when it comes to hiring head football coaches, do you think word on the street has too much influence in who gets hired and who gets passed over?
No, it used to be that way. Now we don't. I can give an example. Again, every school is different. I would say, man, in the mid-90s up to the early 2000s, you can count Jack State that number. You can't include Jack State in that number no more because ain't no committee, ain't no group thing.
Hold on, Coach.
Hold on. Ashley Robinson is making that hire on his own. It's different. Could you have a street committee at Valley maybe that could probably do something? Maybe so.
I was going to say, so hold on now. Damn near every school have some type of committee. That old school stuff. That's why y'all take football. Y'all understand what football means. And y'all been doing that because I'm going to go back on you. After W.C. Gordon, then there was Carson, then there was Judge, and then y'all screwed up.
Oh, well, hold on. But when it came to Carson and Judge, there was no strict committee with that.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying you guys have done it the right way.
No. Hold on. No, but let me stop you. Because a street committee came in play. Because it was some street committee and some of that when it came to bail and after then.
That's what I'm saying. Bail. I was gonna say y'all screwed up when y'all brought Bail in there.
We don't say that.
You know why Bail got that job, so? His cousin was the AD.
Oh, we don't do 4-letter words right here. You hear the game, we say T-C. Them just 2 letters, dog. We don't say 4-letter words.
So it's rumored that a championship coach was recently up for a job, and literally the street committee derailed his appointment. A championship coach. And we won't get into the specifics, but is that a problem? How do you feel about the street committee as a whole? And what is and can you trust their agendas?
Well, it honestly, Rocket, it just depends. Look, let's just cut the chase, man. We do with black folk. A lot of times, black folk, man, if I give my money, I want influence and I won't say so. Right? Let's just call it what it is.
But you're talking now.
Well, the same thing make you laugh can make you cry, but vice versa. Guess what? Sometimes it can be good, sometimes it can be bad. Like it is what it is. You got to take the good with the bad and vice versa. It ain't 100% of everything. So for all intents and purposes, I think, yes, if they got too much leeway, it can be a problem. It can be a hindrance. But shit, sometimes it can be a damn good thing. Because guess what?
Give me an example.
Okay, we got a coach that's horrible as hell in his second year. We want him gone because we see it's bad. We're going to go ahead and get this money up and get him up out of there. Because we won't change.
Well, okay. That one I think we both understand that's driven by performance. I'm talking about when I'm up for a job, right?
And I'm the right guy.
And I have a championship pedigree, and you bring out when I cussed out my 3rd grade teacher in elementary. You bring even more so. You bring up something that a situation where my worst day in my life, right? Mm-hmm. I get arrested for something, DWI, a domestic dispute, whatever. And whatever that charge is later dismissed. Should the street committee still hold that against me, even though there's not a conviction?
Well, see, I'm gonna be honest. I really don't think when it regards to that, in a quote unquote street committee, it's not really a committee. It could be a heavy influential one person or 2 people. It's not everybody because, as you know, dealing with black folk, nothing's ever 100%. So, is it a flaw when you have one person with that much influence and power to want to go against something? Sure, it could be under the right guys, but at the same token, could it be a good thing? Yes, it can. It just depends on the lens. Now, like I said, the same thing make you laugh, make you cry. So, yeah, is it unfair sometimes that you may have done something 10 years ago? Man, look, if I got my mind set on somebody else that I really, really want and I got influence, it don't matter what you did. I'm going to use whatever I got against you to keep it away from you if I want what I want. So that's what I'm saying. It's not a street committee. It's probably one heavy influential person or vice versa. But just like it's a bad example, like I gave, You can flip it on its head and have another good example in the same way. Because I can
You
have,
do-
watch this. I can have 4 or 5 people wanting to hire this god awful person that we don't want to have. But I got more cachet and money to turn the tide and really hire Willie Simmons here.
You cut
Because
the money,
he goes there, because he goes to Prairie View. Look, because he goes to Prairie View, we don't want nobody from Prairie View because they lost 80 games, you know what I'm saying, in a row. We don't want nobody with no Prairie View losing just coming over here. We want a Mississippian, right? I'm just giving an example. And guess what? And so guess what? But Willie Simmons is the right hire. If I got more money to outbid everybody, then guess what? It was a beneficial thing. Because at the end of the day, if he gets here and he starts winning, the street committee, guess what they're gonna be doing? On the same side with everybody else because he winning.
Well, let me say this, and this is what I really think. Ultimately, at Prairie View's hire, right? They hired Tremaine Jackson, right? There was no street committee involved in that. AD Golf made the hire, and he went out for the right guy. We believe. Granger wasn't given that latitude, right, to do so. Matter of fact, let's even be more specific. Tremaine Jackson was available when Fred McNair and Dishman were up for the job. They could have went after him then.
But you know what, Rocky? They probably never even went after Tremaine Jackson at all. We don't know. I'm gonna give you that example.
He interviewed.
I'm gonna give you another example. I'm gonna give you another example, and Steve can vouch for what I'm about to say. W.C. Gordon, greatest coach in Jack State history, won 8 championships in 11 years. Caught hell at Jackson State, could never be comfortable, and he was kicking ass and taking names. And guess what? He didn't leave under his own terms. He didn't leave on his own terms. Still wanted to coach.
If you want, and we can start talking about that too. You know,
so
HBCUs will get rid of a winning coach as well. I ain't speaking of myself. I'm speaking of they will get rid of him. Pete Richardson was forced out. 17 winning seasons and 1 losing season.
Hell, Eddie Robinson was forced out.
Well, damn, coach, he was damn near 90.
But what I'm saying is, how do guys? Because this is what I believe, Zoe, as somebody coming from the outside and learning HBCU history. I don't believe simultaneously. If we go back 2 years ago when me and Coach Cole first met, and he was teaching me the history of the SWAC, and I went back and looked at all the championship coaches who had won 20 years prior, right? So that would be from 2022 to 2002. All those coaches was gone other than Fred McNair, and we had a bubble championship by Maynard, and then of course Fobbs would be eventually let go. Mm-hmm. Why none of those championship guys were in coaching? I know everybody. Is it a trend there, or was it an anomaly?
I think it's a trend.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you all three of you this. Does it show from, and probably me and you know Bishop and Zoe, I don't know how old Zoe is. He looks real young. And I know it, and I don't want to be unfair to HBCUs. And now, of course, they got the money deal, but that's just happened. Do you think Bishop and Zoe from the 80s, 90s up to 2020 that our product has changed?
Very much so.
Would you think, or would you put it on coaches, on switching out coaches so much? I think that's what Rocky is kind of getting to.
No, I don't put it on just coaches.
The quality of coaches.
No,
now, I'm not trying to talk about anybody.
No.
But we had some good guys, has a lot of experience.
Coach,
I will say this, to be frankly and point blank, it's a multitude of reasons, right? If part of it is coaching turnover, part of it was paying coaches, because before Southern made that drastic change to give Pete Richardson that major bump in pay, he was the highest paid coach in all of FCS.
205.
the first HBCU coach to get paid that kind of money, we weren't paying coaches good before then. And we didn't have a huge staff, big staffs at that time, during that time as well. But also the product depreciated. The talent started to reduce. You know what I'm saying? There were a lot of different things that happened from the toward the end of the 90s, switching over to 2000. Because I always use the demarcation. Let's just start the year 2000, right? Because we know the SWAC was strong in the 70s, 80s, up into the mid 90s. The advent of the SWAC championship game started in 1999. From the advent of that game, and matter of fact, the first SWAC game was Jackson and Southern. I think we got about 48,000 people at that game in Birmingham. You look even at the SWAC championship game and how it actually looked from that game starting in 2000 on down to 2025, and you can see the reduction not just in the quality of play, but the quality in coaching, the shortchanging of the coaching staffs, so many other things. The fact that we even had a conference-wide apparel deal back in 2005. Look at so many decisions making that happened from 2000, and I say things started to kind of right themselves. I'm gonna actually say when Deion Sanders got to the conference, things started to change at that particular point.
So you're saying that there's better coaches now than then?
I'm not saying it's better coaches. I'm saying that we're trending back up to get to that point now.
Okay.
I think the hiring of Sam Shade and the hiring of Tremaine Jackson are two damn good decisions in the right direction. I like where we are from a coaching staff, and Terrell Buckley. I think from a coaching standpoint, I like what the stable of coaches that we have in comparison to the MEAC, but I also think it's a good stable of coaches. You know what I'm saying? I think we're going to see some things with
I kind of disagree. I disagree with you, and again, the only way we can judge that is by their body of work, right or wrong.
Coach, that kind of
look at the MEAC. You look at Morgan at what's my man Wilson at Morgan State, Winter, Boyd State.
No.
Can't say enough about Boyd State.
I gotta stop you right there. You are what your resume says you are. He ain't won shit in 2 years. Let's keep it up.
In 2 years. But
hold on. We live in the real world. Guess what?
Do we need to go back and talk about the coaches today?
You update your resume.
Do we need to talk about the coaches today?
You can't live out what you did 3 years ago. Tremaine Jackson just went to the national. Hold on. Tremaine Jackson just went to the DC National Championship. He can stay on that.
Come on.
TC Taylor, Tremaine Jackson,
Sam Shea, SAC Chiefs Championship.
I like that. Now
TC Taylor.
TC Taylor.
Okay.
Then you got Terrell Buckley. Terrell Buckley is a damn good hire. Up and coming.
We're talking about comparing coaches now.
I'm naming all the coaches.
You've seen Terrell Buckley's resume?
Yes,
he's a career coach.
What he did as a head coach?
He coached in the XFL for 1 year and had a losing season in his inaugural season.
So let's talk about them guys in the 90s. Doug Williams, L.C. Cole, those guys in the 90s. Was Comedy, I think Comedy was in the 90s. Pete Richardson. You could name them all, Coach. All of them was good guys.
All of them good.
Well, not all 9 or all 10, but damn 7 or 8. You had Melvin Spears came behind that. You see what I'm saying? So you had some good. Charlie Cole. You had Barlow. Huh?
You said Barlow. Hold on. What did Barlow win?
Barlow went to the championship. Barlow had several winning seasons.
I said, what did he win?
Well, look, he won the East Division.
Oh my God, bro.
But he did.
My point is this, though. It wasn't to say that the quality of coaching, because I'm not at a place where I can evaluate that. You know what I mean? Over the past 20 years.
Yeah.
But what I can say is, when you come into a league in 2022, and you look at the coaches, and the coach who has the most tenure is Connell Maynard, and basically all your other coaches are relatively inexperienced, relatively new. I think it was Maynard and Fred McNair when we looked at it that had tenure as coaches. Mm-hmm. All the rest of the coaches were first, second year, or unsuccessful in their campaigns.
Let me make sure. So let me say this before.
Let's speak to the example that I was giving, though, Rock. Hold on one
I'm
second.
gonna let you go, Zoe. I want to make sure we're not talking nothing negative about the present guys. I want to make sure we're not talking about nothing negative, because Zoe, I'll get blamed and everything else. We're not talking negative about it, but when you start talking about guys and their resume and what they've done, that's what I want to make sure. But go ahead, Zoe. I'm sorry.
No, but I was rocking to your point. But see, I'm actually speaking to that, right? To your point, because that's one of the dichotomies to it, right? The example you gave was, I had certain coaches, but the term, it was Maynard or somebody else, but the rest of the coaches were inexperienced. If you look now, Terrell Buckland's in his first year, but that's a high-profile hire at Mississippi Valley State. That stands for something. You got Sam Shea. Okay, he's in his first year, but he's an accomplished coach. You go into Tremaine Jackson. He just coached the national championship game on the D2 level. That's some accomplishment going into a Prairie View, right? So what I'm saying is, and you have TC Taylor, who just won a HBCU national championship. There's a buzz with the hiring within the SWAC.
And you got to get Eddie Robinson his flowers too. I think he's done a great job.
He could have constantly surprised coming in second place. Okay. So, but what I'm getting at is, but even still, he's done a damn good job since he's been there. This is no shade on Eddie Robinson. He's won at Alabama State. He superseded who coached before Eddie Robinson?
Right.
Donald Ely.
My man, he's at Georgia Tech.
Dunhill Ely. And who
Dunhill Ely.
Because he surpassed, I think, Barlow and Dunhill Ely.
Yeah.
Both. Right? Because he's established some consistency there. So what?
But even I'll bring up a guy that we were going to have on the show, and I learned this last week. Brian Jenkins came from Bethune-Cookman to take a job at Alabama State, and I was going to get Coach Cole to explain why would a person make that move, but I didn't get a chance to. He's not here today.
Brian Jenkins, when he was at Bethune-Cookman, was rolling. He was annihilating FAMU. They beat Florida International. They had a couple of FBS wins while he was the head coach. Bethune-Cookman was a dominant winning program in the MEAC under Brian Jenkins. Got to ASU and kind of did what ASU do, right? Didn't win a championship. So, but what I'm saying is, right now, to your point, to your question, Rocky, there's a buzz within the coaches in the SWAC more so than the MEAC right now, and tangibly so. And I think we're headed in the right direction. But also to your earlier question, to prove that point, the quality of the product diminished in year 2000. The tide changed with Deion Sanders, because I think now, there aren't many committees now within the SWAC. There's still some. But I think now ADs are trying to, because I think we turned the corner with regard to the product in the HBCU ranks within the SWAC since Deion Sanders came there. Because again, I've never in my life since I was a kid have ever talked about Valley in the way that I talk. I have a legit, honest buzz and excitement for Mississippi Valley. Interest there. There are some damn good storylines in the SWAC this season, far better than what we had last season, right? And again, I think Sam Shea is a damn good hire, Alabama A&M. Again, they have some good pieces. I'm expecting good things from them. I'm expecting damn good things for Prairie View. There's a buzz, for Prairie View. They're putting out damn good content. They weren't doing that under Bubba McDowell. They're doing it now. They dropped some content today. There is a buzz there. FAMU, the Rattlers are still the Rattlers, right? There's a buzz there in year 2 of Cozy to see what that's going to look like. So again, that buzz is there, and we're trending upward. And I think the demarcation or the tide per se, we were down from 2000, I'm going to say until Will Prime got here. There's been a significant shift, not just at Jackson State, but all the schools in the SWAC and how they handle business, what they're doing, and the moves they're making to try to get to Atlanta.
Hey, I just wanted to say this to answer Edwin Moore. No, you didn't miss Brian Jenkins. He had a scheduling conflict on his end, and at the last minute, we decided we're going to go forward with a show and talk about the coaching hires and inconsistency in how coaches are selected in HBCU football. And so I just wanted to point that out. Zoe and Mr. Campbell and Coach, you guys we've been had a great conversation around that. I'll ask either one of y'all, and I'll ask Mr. Campbell this question. When it comes to hiring coaches, what do you see as the biggest difference between how the PWI select coaches and how HBCU select coaches?
Well, here's the thing. I don't know if there's a big difference because you still have people, look, that guy down there, Jimmy Rain down at Auburn, is in all the mess down at Auburn. You're not hiring a coach without talking to Jimmy Rain, point blank, period. And I can tell you a name of each guy at every SEC school that's like that. So the thing about it is, it goes back. Hey, listen, Zoe basically said what I said. What did I tell you guys before? If you got a solid AD, the coaching hire goes pretty good. Did I not say that earlier? I said exactly that. If the AD is not strong and can outside influence come, guess what? Then you have a lot of this stuff. So again, I can't speak about this other school. That might be an issue with the AD. I don't know that AD. I don't know their background. I don't know what their issue is. But if you've got a strong AD, AD say, hey, I'm going to stand on my own business. I'm going to make this decision. I'm going to live with it. That's what strong ADs do. So again, I think with the SWAC, and again, I think always with the HBCU, it's quality of coach versus money that can be paid. Because there are guys that we know that are great wide receiver coaches, running back coaches, that probably could be a head coach. And if you say, hey, man, I can't leave. I'm making $550 at LSU. I can't leave. These are guys that I'm just going to wait my turn here. Well, they could come down to our level and maybe be a great head coach. So that's the thing about it. I don't think that everybody in any athlete in college football, they are going to have certain alumni groups, no matter what level you're on, that are going to be in the mix. Florida has a very, very messy alumni association. Very messy. That is well known in the state of Florida. Nothing goes on without the Florida alumni okaying it. They will get rid of guys. FSU, Auburn, Alabama, LSU. What do you think? Texas A&M. What do you think goes on down in Texas A&M? Rocky, that's your area.
Yeah.
Those guys don't blink.
Matter of fact, the AD had hired another coach other than Elo, and say this plane is not leaving to go pick up that guy. This plane is only leaving to go pick up Elo.
And guess what? And that was their plane. See, be clear. That wasn't a Delta ticket. That was his plane.
And what Texas A&M plane it was his plane.
That's what I said. It's his plane, the booster's plane.
Yes.
So see, there's a whole other, play. But I'm gonna say something again with the coach. I will say this, and I think again the transition to me has always been when you saw, and I'm gonna use the SWAC because the SWAC and the SEC are so intertwined together.
Yep.
Their rise was the SWAC's downfall because the guys we got, they went to the SEC, and when they got that TV contract, when they went from the CFA, when they got the SEC contract, that's when you saw the quality talent going there. Now, what I have hoped, and it's like bits and pieces, because again, maybe we'll talk about the Legacy Bowl tomorrow. But one of the things that I thought that the transfer portal was going to do was bring a little bit more talent down to the SWAC level, and guys would come and say, you know what, I can play here and get to the NFL. I think that's still hit and miss. I think that's still open for judgment and things like that. But once again, the level of talent is all, because let me tell you something, Coach knows this. You can't be no great coach without great players.
You know the crazy thing is that if you pay attention, there's a couple players. Me and Scotty had a conversation. I don't know if Keyshawn Johnson from Alabama State, but I know Chalk from Grambling. Those players went on to be all conference players in Group of 5 teams, and those players played in the SWAC last year. So my point of saying that is, you guys might be right about the talent being ascending in the SWAC based on previous years, but you always have the problem of, can you keep the talent in the SWAC? And in those two cases, you may have been able to retain those players had you retained the coaches, the offensive coordinator in Alabama State situation, and then the head coach in Hugh Jackson in a Chalk situation.
Well, let me say this, because I'd be remiss if I didn't say this. Even in this decline area, where I say from year 2000 to 2020, right, the 20-year gap, and I said the talent decreased. Yeah, it was just the quantity of that talent. The SWAC still in that time had damn good talent. you can always find DBs, receivers, linebackers, tight ends, running backs in the SWAC by the boatload. The deficiency really became in the trenches and at quarterback. And then again, even if you could have, one good lineman, on an O-line, but one standout O-lineman that could get drafted, and then you'll have, 3 guys that's really ain't cutting the mustard. I mean, you look at, I always tell about, if you think Steve Mandel was something in 1994, his senior year, just imagine what he would have looked like with a standout O-line, because that O-line he had was atrocious. Just imagine if they had a decent defense. There was talent on their team, because people fail to remember, Steve Mandel got drafted, I think, with the 3rd pick of the draft. Hey, man, guess the next year, guess who win the top 10? John Theory from Alcorn to the Chicago Bears. Like, there's always been talent. Jackson State has the last 2 first-round draft picks in all of black college football, and it was in the year 2000. And we lost the SWAC championship game. We had 2 first-round picks in 2000, Sylvester Morris and Rashard Anderson, who went, I believe, 21st and 23rd in the first-round draft. So again, there's plenty of talent in the SWAC. I just think with the things changing now since Prime came, I just think that gap that we had in that 20-year gap, I think the quantity is coming back. Now, granted, there's some other things with that, right? With regards to, the portal and NIL, what I'm saying? And now it's more attractive because Prime came to Jackson State. I just think now that gap that was so wide is closing up now, because now we're starting to give more guys to all of our teams.
Well, I think that I don't necessarily think it's Prime per se that he did bring one of the top players in. I think they changed the transfer rule. Back then you had to get a piece of paper, and they had to go get it signed. Then they had to give it to you, and then you were able to contact the kid. Now the kid can make the initial transfer deal, and that they made it easier for a kid. I think that has a whole lot to do with it now, so you can transfer from place to place. Back in there, it was like a one transfer rule, and if you was at a Division 1A, you could transfer down and play, but you couldn't transfer across, and so you had to sit out. And they took you through all. They found out you were talking to people on the phone. That was an NCAA violation, and how you was getting in touch. So I think they made that a lot easier now than it was back in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Well, Coach, when I mentioned Prime, you're absolutely right. And I just want to make sure I get this context. When I mentioned Prime, it really only is under the context of when he came to the SWAC, he made it more attractive in a broad scope.
He made it cool.
He made it more cool from a broad scope. Down south, right. It was what it was, Coach. I just think in a broad landscape, he made it attractive to want to play HBCU ball. That's why I say I
agree. I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. I definitely agree with it, because he brought a big fish. He brought a big, the biggest fish you could get.
But this is the last statement I'll make, and this is probably going to be directed at Bishop. And you talk about the strength of the AD, right? You guys, when I say you guys, I mean FAMU, went through a situation where y'all just wouldn't let an AD make the decision she wanted to make. Ultimately, you guys believe it was in the best interest of y'all institution, right? But no, and I'm being straight up with Steve in this regard. Y'all as an alumni association and auxiliary groups did what y'all had to do. But overall, is that practice good for HBCU sports?
Well, okay. See, this is why I always, and I'm going to shout out my boys, Ken Rashad, and I'm over HBCU. You're doing what they do. You can't tell half the story. Because, see, let's roll back. I'm
giving you a chance to explain it, though. I'm not making any assertions here.
Okay. So, hey, Rocky, what you saying? They chose the head coach. No. An action to a reaction. Let's go back. We had a quality head coach. We had the best coach in HBCU football that wanted to get an extension. She told him, I don't think you're worth that. She did that. We found out about it. That coach then proceeds to leave, okay? Then what does she do? Instead of building bridges and saying, hey, I've got my friend, and let's be very clear. Sean Gibbs, he has not denied it. They are all over social media. Her and all are thick as thieves. They are friends.
Do you understand this? They are friends. So that ain't no, I like him because he's a great coach. That is her boy. So what does she do? She goes and tries to sneak her boy in. Did she talk to the F Club, the 220 Club, the National Alumni Association, and say, here's a guy I'm thinking about? She did none of that. We found out about it. So when you go and have a championship head coach that was on his way to win a Celebration Bowl and say he wasn't worth it, then you try to sneak your guy in through the back door. Then you know what? This is what you get. It's an action to a reaction. Now, I'm going to go to Zoe's part. And Zoe knows this. When Ashley Robinson wanted to get Deion, Zoe knows this. He talked to a couple of folks and said, hey, I got an opportunity. And I know who those folks were. And they were like, I'm cool with that. He didn't just roll Deion in there and just say, Deion, to hell with that. He did not. He socialized the people because that was a big, the name is Deion. But that still was a risk he was taking, okay? Deion had never coached on that level. Deion could have flamed out. He totally could have flamed out. I'm glad he didn't for Jack State and HBCU football. But Ashley Robinson also knew, hey, there are people that are stakeholders that need to be talked about. So this is the bottom line fact. So it wasn't that, oh, we didn't want her because we didn't like her. It's because if you treat me bad and don't have a conversation with me, you're going to get the same energy back.
No. What I'm simply saying, let's take FAMU out of the deal because I didn't mean to hit a nerve that way. What I was simply saying,
no, it's not a nerve. You asked a question because I keep hearing this. So I'm saying you got to understand something. There was a reaction to an action. Because I tell you what, we might not have been here. She told Willie, I'm gonna give you his money.
So let me ask you this here: when Granger wants to hire Fred McNair, is it good for HBCU sports to have his decisions undermined by other stakeholders, members of boards, alumni associations? Is that overall good for HBCU sports?
Well, let me answer that. Hold on. I'm gonna set it up. Hold on one second.
I got to take the question.
Because the thing about it is, now, Coach, correct me if I'm wrong. The issue with Fred McNair was the money that they wanted to pay him. That became the issue. Coach, am I wrong on that?
Yeah,
money was not an issue.
They already had approved. Whoever was going to be the head coach was going to make 310, I think. And they were worried about the process in which it happened. Pretty much what you guys went through at Florida A&M. And then that's when they got involved in it. And at one time they were talking about a lawsuit at one time. So I don't think it was the money. I think it more was the process. And the same thing I shared with you guys about ADs getting a guy and communicating with their guy and just going through the process without just what you said, Mr. Campbell, of talking to the right people. And that's why I don't think, Zoe, that you should have committees. You know what I mean? You got the dorm director, you got the cafeteria person, you got the financial aid person, you got these people don't. You trying to hire a football coach.
Well, here's the thing, because I think the lines are getting blurred, and Steve made a just good point, and I want to make sure we get some understanding, right? There's one thing when we say street committee, right? It's a whole different entity when you're talking about, okay, I'm an AD, and I'm going to make this singular decision on who I'm going to coach, right? Steve used the word stakeholders. I'm going to kind of segue into that because bear in mind, and this is a segue into Rocky's question, and that is, every state is different. And even in Mississippi, there's a Tiger Fund, there's a Blue Bend Athletic Association. They supplement income, right? So again, even a coach, he's going to have to talk to, I'm going to use stakeholders, hey, to agree on the salary. And, if we're going to get this guy, but then to, his point, if those stakeholders are like, we don't like this decision, we don't want to pay this decision, man, if you got 5 people that's really overpaying it, they have the power and the what's the word I want to use? And
I believe I'm with Mr. Campbell. I believe that's a great way. The AD comes. I mean, just like the head basketball coach now back at St. John, the AD, he had told his people, let's put together some names. And then he had a friend tell him, man, you only need one name. And the first thing the AD did was went and talked to, you got Patino.
Rick Pitino.
Yeah, he went and talked to him, and I to see if he was interested. Then he had to come back and talk to what you said, Kel, all the stakeholders.
Our stakeholders
of saying, guys, what we want. Oh, that's the same thing when they hired Deion Sanders. That guy that just didn't go in and brought Deion in and say he got the okay to bring Deion Sanders in.
And you got to agree on the
I
contract.
believe in that. That's why I don't believe in these big old committees. You know what I'm saying? I just don't. You know what I'm saying? They don't understand the game. You know what I mean? They don't understand. Then everybody gets big now. I'm on the committee, and then your boy calling and your girl calling, and I got a friend, and that's how I think a lot of these jobs get screwed up.
Well, let me address something because was that Mary right now looks like what's that? As we would have been okay with Sean Gibbs. I'm going to say this again. Nobody had a problem with Coach Gibbs. What happened with Coach Gibbs, the issue was it was like, okay, we're doing this in the cloak of night. This is my guy, and you take him. I believe if she would have brought Coach Gibbs to the F Club, the 220 Club, the FAMU boosters, right, and say, here's a guy I want you guys to meet. Here's a guy that I think is an up-and-coming coach. Here's a guy that I think it would have been totally different. And matter of fact, I know it would have been totally different because I knew what the outrage was. So I think, again, and see, I'm going to make this statement for all you young people. When you are trying to build something, the word you have to build, the word you need to use is consensus. You need to build consensus. If you know you have different factors, and this goes to your jobs and things like that, because if you try to go my way to highway, unless you are somewhere at that level of an Ashley Robinson, where you know that you got enough chips in the game that you can lose them all and still have chips in the bag, then you can make that move. But when you don't have no chips in the game, bro, you got to go borrow chips from other people playing this game. And that's the failure that I've seen on certain situations. And even with some of these hiring with these other ADs, they go out and they want to talk to a guy. They don't sit back and find out, hey, is this the person that fits our culture? Because this goes back to the Sam Shea thing. I think, hey, listen, I'm a Sam Shea fan. I saw Sam Shea play. I know who he was. I told you this. But to Zoe's point, his fit was at Alabama A&M. His fit was not at Delaware State. It had nothing to do with his coaching ability. It's about maximizing his ability on where he was at. He's going to maximize his ability at Alabama A&M compared to being at Delaware State because, to your point, Coach, he is in Alabama. He is Alabama. It is nothing but a phone call away from him. And how about this? Alabama got way more football players than Delaware does. So that's the reason why, to Zoe's point, why you got to look at both points and a little bit different. In Alabama, his name rings bells. He knows the coaches. He played at Alabama. He can go get money. Delaware State, he started from ground one. Deshaun Jackson can come in there because his name is going to bring people in. And because he played professional football.
And to your point, Steve, and Deshaun Jackson did a pretty damn good job so late in the recruiting process, right, with the class that he got. Sam Shea doesn't get the same caliber of class that Deshaun Jackson did at the same time frame at Delaware State. It just doesn't happen. And this is not a knock on Sam Shea because I think he's a damn good coach. But there's a thing called fit. He fits at Alabama A&M. It was the right hire. It fits.
Like I say, guys, I agree with the Sam Shea situation. I just was going on off of the thing that happened to this unnamed coach, how the street committee, alumni, whoever you want to call it, got to the president and AD or whoever
Rocky,
was on the hiring committee.
Let me throw something else at you too. And everybody, Zoe and Coach Cole knows this. And you too, Rocky, because this goes back. If you're going to a public position, they tell you, I'm going to select the vice president. They're going to vet you all the way back to you were out the womb. So you are a head coach of a football team. You know what good, bad, or this. So it's not like this came out of nowhere. So my thing is, what you do is, if I know I've done something that maybe people might have questions about, not that I did anything wrong, right? Question about, I'm going to answer the questions before you even ask it. So I'm going to go to this AD. Hey, you know what? You're going to hear that Steve dated a secretary at FAMU. No, she didn't go to FAMU. She went to Florida State. And we broke up, and here's her phone number, and she will tell you I did not harass her. I treated her right, and guess what? I'm getting married next week. She's coming to the wedding. That's what you have to do sometimes. You have to take, because you know, listen, everybody knows, and Coach Cole understands it. If Coach Cole goes to get for another job. Coach Cole knows the stuff he's got to answer. It's no secret. And he'd be crazy not to address it up front.
Hey, Steve,
Coach, I just want you to know, if you want to get back coaching, I'll be your OC.
hey, guys. Hey, I'd like to see that meeting.
Hey, I'm gonna throw that rock, coach. We throw the ball 6 times a game, coach.
Oh wow, coach, we got to be winning.
Hell out of Mississippi, coach.
We got to be winning, Joe. Because if not, I'll have to call you in the office, baby.
Hey, coach.
I have to call you in the office.
Coach, I don't know if you heard me say this or not, but it's time for me to bless you. If I tell you a mosquito can pull a wagon, don't ask me no questions. You better hook his ass up.
Hey, man, this has been an awesome conversation, man. I hope you guys who had a chance to watch, enjoyed it. I want to give Zoe the first chance to make his final statement before he goes. I want to thank you, Zoe, for jumping on here on such short notice. The Zone, you can always catch him at the Zone Coverage Podcast, and go ahead, Zoe. Anywhere else they can catch you?
Man, look, y'all can catch me, man, Zone Coverage Podcast, man, Tuesdays and Thursdays, man, 9:30 p.m. Central. And say that, but I also want to say, man, look, it's going to be a damn good year this year, man. All of y'all, man, look, get your season tickets, be a supporter of your programs, tune into all these HBCU spaces. It's needed, and we need more schools to actually get content out there. But, man, look, man, like, comment, subscribe on all these programs, all these platforms. Get in tune, get involved, and, man, let's have a damn good season this upcoming year.
Hey, thank you, Zoe. We appreciate it, man.
Thank you for your time, Zoe.
All right. I don't have anything else, guys. I got
something.
leave it to the.
Let Cameron close it out, Coach.
Well, I got something, because many of our schools, I think you all have seen the land grant, our HBCU land grant scholarship that's being cut. That's affecting many students. I have friends that have students at North Carolina A&T saying, "Hey, my scholar," call their parents and say their scholarship gets cut. I'm going to say this to all these young people. It is your time to stand up. Go look up John Lewis. John Lewis was a college student. Go look up Stokely Carmichael. He was a college student. I don't want you calling your mama and daddy crying, talking about you lost your scholarship. It is time for you all to take the reins and step up. Me and Coach Cole and I did our time. What we're going to do is just like the old folks. If you need some money, we got money. But it's time for y'all to get in the streets. It is time. If you do not like what you're seeing happen to your HBCU, it is time for you to stop making TikTok dances, stop posting memes on Instagram, and it's time for you to get out in the streets. This is the challenge that I'm going to do, because I don't want you calling your mama, because your mama can't save you. Your mama can't save you. For my people in North Carolina A&T, look at the Greensboro 4. Those were college students. Look at what they did. That's why your school is great. Go look at FAMU, Jackson State, the Freedom Riders. Those were college students, your age. So I am sick and tired of this generation crying to their mamas and daddies. It's time for you to get out on those streets. Because, see, I'm going to tell you something, and I'm going to keep it 100. This goes back. My grandfather, Jackson State alumnus, he was a principal. The teachers couldn't leave their job because they told the teachers, "Hey, if you leave this job and go out there, we're going to fire you." But the teacher said, "Don't worry about it. If you get arrested, we'll be the ones that put up the money." But guess what the teachers did? They let all the kids out of school. Because there is a mission on both sides. So I'm looking for all these young people. I don't want to see no more memes, no more videos. They did this to me. It is time for you to stand up. You see all these schools, they have people that stood up for you. So now stop being weak and stop being soft, because we are now getting challenged of our blackness, and they're steamrolling over us because they think that you're not going to do anything. So it's time for you all to do like John Lewis and get into some good trouble. That's all I got. Want y'all to have a good night.